My buddy Randy Scott. I've known you for over 30 years, maybe 40 years.
It seems like it.
You're looking a little old, and I feel really old.
I am old.
Listen, Randy's got Reddog charters. He's the #1 charter skipper on Lake Ontario. How long you been doing this?
33 years.
33 years this guy's been out here. Now, we're in the blue zone. We're 14 miles from the CN Tower or downtown Toronto, right? Middle of Lake Ontario, and we're fishing for steelhead in the middle of Lake Ontario, over 400 feet. And you can keep these rainbow trout because the Americans stock them for the economy and for sport fishing excitement. It's put and take pretty well. You know, there is some natural, but these are fish like this. Is that a dandy?
That's a beauty.
Stick with us because we're going fishing.
I'm going fishing all the time, and my baby's going fishing too. Bet your life that your sweet wife can catch more fish than you. Any fish will bite if you got the right bait. Now here's a little something that I'd like to relate. With my pole and my line, I'm going fishing. Yes, I'm going fishing. My baby's going fishing too.
Going Fishing with Darryl Cronzy is brought to you in part by Yamaha. Reliability with every turn of the key. G3 Boats, a Yamaha boat company. Maxima Premium Monofilament Fishing Lines, the best by test. And Islander Precision Reels. Closed captioning is brought to you by Garmin, the new wave in chart plotters and sonar solutions.
Randy, the magnificent blue zone. Now, what is the blue zone? I know what it is, but tell the audience.
Well, it's basically the middle third of the lake. I usually say it's 300 feet and out. So 300 feet from our side, depth, 300 feet from their side. It seems to be the middle of the lake. And starting about first week of August, this is where you get the steelhead, and the cohos show up around middle of August to September.
Now, what you have to understand is we're 14 miles out from Mimico, right? Just downtown Toronto, almost, right? So we're 14 miles out. We're 300 to 400 feet of water here, but you're only fishing 25 to 35 feet under the boat.
Correct.
You know, so what makes the blue zone so fantastic? Is it because the water temperature doesn't change a lot? It doesn't vary out here? It's pretty constant?
Depending, if you get a lot of east wind, it'll drive the temperature down, but most of the time, once it sets up, it'll be 25 to 40 feet for 6-7 weeks in a row.
Now, we're running the 30-foot Mako right now, right? 27-foot Mako right now. You don't want to come out here in a car topper. You know, there's lots of fish out here, but you don't want to be out in the middle of Lake Ontario in a 12 or 14-foot boat.
You do see them occasionally.
And they're all finding your hotspot.
Slowly. Slowly.
Mr. Scott, non-stop here, eh? This guy, look at this.
He's
Look
over
at
here,
this.
Darryl. He's underneath everything.
Okay.
Free spool it.
Oh, my goodness.
Free spool it.
Got him.
No, you're still
Is he around the wire?
Yeah, you got to go through again.
Jeez, what a crazy fish. Little ballerina act, Randy.
You're still, I think you're on this one too. He came forward.
Where is he?
Through,
Yep,
through.
I got him. Holy smokers. I'm too old for this, Randy. A lot of rainbow here?
Lots.
Okay, what's your percentages usually against rainbow against salmon?
80% rainbow, 20% coho.
And again, they're not all Credit River rainbow trout, right? Let's say this, to be honest, and we're gonna talk about this later, but last year I was out here with Randy, I says, we're catching too many wild fish because they had all their fins. And then I said, whoa, something's wrong here. Then I checked with Bishop over in New York, right? 500,000 rainbow trout a year they're putting out, yearlings. And they're not taking any fins off for identification, you know? I would say 85% of the fish you're catching here are coming out of the Salmon River hatchery.
Between both sides, it's about 800,000 steelhead a year goes in the lake.
Randy, this is paradise. Now we're 14 miles or 15 miles or 16 miles out in Lake Ontario, right? And there's not a boat out here.
On a perfect day.
Look at like how often you get a flat calm like this in August. You get days, but you get a lot of rough days too.
Oh,
right?
a lot of rough days. This is perfect.
This guy's gone down.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Is
one.
that a dandy or is that a dandy? Oops. I'm gonna slowly get him over to you, Randy. Now, and again, just let him flop in the net there for a minute. You have to understand this. We're keeping this fish. We're gonna have a nice big steelhead barbecue. And again, somebody's gonna say, oh, they're killing these fish. These fish are stocked by the state of New York, and they're there as a put, grow, and take fishery, and there's no two ways about it.
And they're lots of fun catching. Ready?
Yep.
That's a nice one.
Is that a dandy? Randy, that wasn't purple, that's blue, that's my moose luck. You know? Is that a nice fish or is that a nice fish?
It's a beautiful
Isn't that
fish.
dandy? Now, again, have a look at this baby. If Randy doesn't hit me in the head with a net.
Sorry.
Have a look at this baby. This is what you're catching out in the blue zone. And again and again and again. They're Chambers Creek rainbow trout, for the most part, stocked by the state of New York for a put, grow, and harvest fishery. The Americans are stocking fish for recreation. And somebody's gonna say it's got all its fins. No. Randy, I'm gonna keep this one.
Okay.
You wouldn't put that back, would you?
No.
Again, it's a put and take fishery out here. But this fish came out of the Salmon River in New York. It's got all its fins. Is that a honey?
Oh, that's a nice one.
Hey? 35 pounds? What would you figure? I'd say 15.
Oh yeah, at least
Easy
15.
15,
That's
eh?
a beautiful fish.
And again, we are keeping these fish. Again, it's a put and take fishery out in the middle of Lake Ontario, 14 miles from downtown Toronto. I'm gonna put them in the ice box, Randy.
Okay, coming.
Beautiful fish.
And now for Darryl Cronzy's Campfire Comment, brought to you by Daiwa, committed to total quality.
John Snyder. Now listen, I told you I was going to take you to Lake Ontario, to the Blue Zone. We were going to be 15 minutes from downtown Toronto, right?
Yeah.
We're over 500 feet of water, and we are slaying the steelhead, right? And we got a bunch of salmon, too. What'd you think?
Hey, that was pretty good. I had a great time. The thing that I'm thinking of is, you know, it seemed Georgian Bay about the same, and now it's tough fishing. Do you think Lake Ontario can support the same?
Fishery?
Keep the fish going?
Lake Ontario's fishery is going to always be good because, and I'm not being smart, the Americans run their salmon and their trout fishery like a business, okay? We experiment on Lake Ontario, and to be honest with you, I think Lake Ontario could be in trouble in the next couple of years, on the Canadian side especially. Here's what's happening. We used to stock all our fish in 3 sites, all our Chinook and all our coho. Bronny Creek at Lowville, 40 miles from the lake. The Credit River up at Streetsville, 30, 40 miles from the lake. And we did them in Martindale Pond, which had a good flow at St. Catharines, all the fish in the lake. About 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the Ministry of Natural Resources started to take these fish and stock them closer to the lake. Well, listen, little fish, especially salmon and steelhead, they have to imprint. So you put them as far up the river as possible, so when they're swimming down, they get the smell of that river, because they're just out of a hatchery, right?
Yeah.
But they get the smell of the river, and they come back to the river as adults to spawn. By the ministry pushing them to the lake, they don't imprint, so they don't come home, okay?
Wow.
The fishery has been getting worse and worse on the Canadian side. Now some of the local clubs are using pens. And what you do with the pens, you put them in the river mouth, you hold them there for 3 weeks, you feed them, and they're supposed to imprint, and they will. But you think those fish are gonna swim back to the pens? The pens are at the mouth of the Credit and off the Bronny and, you know,
They're gonna
and,
go up.
and off these streams. They're gonna run up. Here's the deal. The Ontario Ministry of Natural Resources has got an agreement with the city of Mississauga and a couple other places, and the ministry in their own mind says, wait a minute, the salmon come up. Well, when the salmon come up, they spawn and they die. The big shots, and a lot of the residents, not just the big shots, but the golf courses, they don't want the salmon up there dying and smelling in the river.
Yeah.
The ministry doesn't want them up there because they don't want the complaints. Plus, you get a lot of poaching. They're understaffed. We don't have enough COs. They don't want to enforce it. They can't enforce it. So their way is, let's stock them off the break walls, right?
Boy.
Stock them off the break walls, they don't imprint, okay? The other thing is we've got this stupid Atlantic salmon program on Lake Ontario, not in the St. Mary's River. On Lake Ontario, we've got the Atlantics coming now. You know what I think of Atlantics? Like right down the tube, and they should send the biologists with them. But now they're reserving space in the rivers for Atlantics. They don't want the Chinook up there competing with the Atlantics. They don't want the Chinook up there, they don't want the rainbow up there competing with the Atlantics. If I thought the Atlantics would work, I'd be behind them. They're not gonna work. Get on the ministry's case and say, look, if we've got poaching up there, get some COs, hire some COs. The fish die in the river, they put nutrients into the river. Atlantics aren't gonna do it for you, and honest to God, you wanna thank the Lord that you've got New York State on the other side of the border stocking fish properly.
Going Fishing returns with more Blue Zone action.
Oh, did you see that baby jump? Whoa! Randy, I just love it out here. On the Islander again. That guy came out of the water 3 times, Randy. We're only 25 feet back behind the cannonball, 25 or 30 feet down, eh?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Look at him go.
Hey, now listen, why wouldn't they raise steelhead like this instead of Atlantics? You tell me. Again, Randy, you got a fish that's great out here in the blue zone, right? And then it's a great river fish, too. The Ministry of Natural Resources in Ontario has got their heads in the wrong place. They should be stocking about 300,000 or 400,000 of these fish.
I didn't think I was that ugly.
Here he comes. Dandy fish, Randy. Now let me ask you something. You're gonna take a couple fish home, right?
Yes.
You're not afraid of eating fish?
Nope.
Your kid likes eating fish?
He loves it.
And again, before everybody says, oh my golly, they're out killing fish, this is a put and grow and take fishery. Most of these rainbow trout, I would say nearly all the ones we're catching are American Chambers Creek strain rainbow trout. And the Americans do something different than Ontario. And I don't want the ministry mad at me, yeah. In Ontario, for the most part, they want to experiment. In Michigan, they raise fish for 2 reasons. For the fishery, to give you the enjoyment of fishing, and also for the economy. Look at that, eh? And they're stocking 500,000 of these fish every year. And all the fins are on them. They don't take the fins off. And for you people in the Ministry of Natural Resources, get out of your Ganaraska strain that you haven't refreshed in the last 20 years. You've been using the same cows over and over. New York State takes all their eggs out of wild fish. They come back, swim back to hatchery, take the eggs out of them, so you've got wild genetics. Ontario's been playing with the same brood stock for probably 20 years.
20 years.
Give me a break. Nice fish, buddy.
Beautiful fish.
Now, if the truth be known, our host just might have owned more fish finders over the years than anyone else on the water. Now, though, he honestly believes he's finally discovered a chart plotter fish finder that meets all his needs for fishing big water situations. It's the Garmin 7012. Now, here's a unit that has a worldwide GPS map system to tell you where you are and where you're going anywhere on the water. Also included is one of the best sonar fish finders, radar, weather, and especially important to Kronzi, a video input system that lets him hook directly up to his Walker underwater strike vision unit. Not only can he watch one screen for his GPS and sonar, but actually watch the fish strike as well.
Look at this. Hey, look at this. Take that clicker off before I burn it out. Did that guy wallop or did that guy wallop?
Yeah, he wanted it.
Boy, he pounded it. I got a funny feeling I've got him behind the... I wonder if I got him on a wire too, Randy.
I don't think so. I don't see anything bouncing.
I wonder if we got a spring now. You want to know the truth? Like, he's booting.
I don't see anything bouncing, so it should be okay.
Boy, that guy tore. He was over here at first.
Probably a coho.
Randy, you remember the old days in the late 70s when the coho everywhere you ever went? And then the ministry finally, got away from them a little bit.
Kings, they were bigger, cheaper to raise.
Yeah.
So we were out there when there was 900 boats off Brawny.
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm not being smart, but they can talk about the salmon derby now, right? We used to have, 1,000 boats between Brawny and Port Credit. Now I see 50, maybe 100, but you never see those. Those days are gone.
No, they're gone.
Boy, this guy went down. Oh, look at this.
Into this one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get it off. Okay.
What he's done is he's crossed that other line. Are you free? He's
not yet.
Okay, there we go. Now look at this guy. Look at him down here. He's just a big fish. Look at, and he's not fall hooked. Oh, what do we got here? Another coho.
Yeah, big coho.
Hey, nice coho, eh? Ooh. That guy. Oh.
Got power.
Oh. Randy, I just can't believe it. It's rainbow and coho, eh?
It's a nice one, this one.
Is that a nice fish or is that a nice fish?
Heavy one. Look at the size of that. Look how fat
Look
it
at
is.
this thing. This guy is a pig. I'm gonna get that darty out of there before I get it in my hand. Nice fish. Well, that's why I want Ontario to get back in the coho game properly, eh?
Isn't that a fish?
Again, a New York State fish. As far as I'm concerned, this is New York State. There's no clips on it. They don't clip their coho. Is that a dandy or is that a dandy?
That's a beautiful
eh?
fish. Lots of power.
Now, back in the 70s and the 80s, we used to catch these all the time.
All day long.
You know, that's a dandy fish. You got to remember, there's coho in other places in the Pacific Ocean, right in the middle of the blue zone. Is that a dandy fish or is that a dandy fish? Wow.
And now for the Walker Deeper Diver Tip of the Week, taking your lures down and away. Flashers and flies aren't always the way to go, especially when it comes to fishing the blue zone. Pulling spoons directly behind a downrigger cannonball for open water steelhead is lethal. Still, Randy ties at least one flasher directly behind a cannonball to bring the fish home.
Randy Scott, how many years have I known you? Come on.
37?
37? Seems like 80, but that's okay. Listen, I told you when I came out this past spring, I says, I'm going to start using my BC reels, my Islanders, right? They're a lot of fun, eh?
Oh, they're fun.
You know, honest to God, this is more sporting than a bait caster.
Far
You
more
know?
sporting.
I got the long BC mooching rods, right? I got the Maxima line. We're only running 12-pound test line. You know, you've been running Maxima for a while.
Yeah, for a while.
You know?
Good line.
It is. Well, they say the best by test, but it's phenomenal line. Okay, today when I was out with the darties, the Williams darties, right? With the purple, and we hammered the steelhead and we hammered the coho.
Mostly coho.
There was a lot.
They like that black one.
Listen, if you get the opportunity, honestly, don't pass up the chance to get out with Reddog, okay? Randy Scott, what's the name of that website again?
Reddogsportfishing.ca.
Okay, reddogsportfishing.ca. And you people in Toronto, we're only 45-minute boat ride from Lakeshore Highway. We can see the Sky Dome or whatever they call it now, the Rogers Center. Get your butts out here. That's two old farts telling you that. Let's go.
Going fishing returns with the Napoleon Barbecue's Shore Lunch.
You know, when I'm cooking fish on the barbecue, let me tell you something. I love planking. Now, the major number one secret of this is to get a plank. It's untreated cedar. You cut the plank, or you can buy the planks in the grocery store, submerge them from 3 to 8 hours so the water really soaks in, for the simple reason you don't want to put the plank with your ingredients and the fish in the barbecue and it burns up on you. So remember, pre-soak the plank. This recipe is really easy. It can be used with walleye, it can be used with bass, it can be used with salmon, steelhead, just about any fish that swims. You've got some dill, you've got some lemon, you've got some seasoning, you've got some olive oil, actually garlic olive oil, and you've got some brown sugar. And all you want to do is put the fish on the plank, and it's pre-soaked, that plank, and spread all the ingredients over it, and you leave it on the barbecue at medium heat, depending on the size of the fish, anywhere from 8 to 15 minutes. So you're checking that fish occasionally, because you don't want to open that up one day and all you got is a fire going there. Now look at this. Does this look scrumptious or what? Now remember, Napoleon barbecues, those are the ones to use. Always check the plank, and there's a million different recipes that you can put on your fish, and the fish can be salmon, walleye, bass, just about anything that swims. But when it's on a plank in a Napoleon, you never lose. Try just a bite, and I've got to go see my guests. We'll see you next week.
For more information on today's fishing location and other going fishing destinations, visit goingfishingtv.com. Going Fishing with Darryl Cronzy has been brought to you in part by Yamaha Outboards, reliability with every turn of the key. G3 Boats, a Yamaha boat company. Maxima Premium Monofilament Fishing Lines, the best by test. And Islander Precision Reels. Going Fishing would like to thank the following fine sponsors.
Going fishing, baby smiling my way, gonna have a great day, no competition. Going fishing, going fishing. We'll be gone, but not for too long. Going fishing, we'll be